What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Unscripted. I'm going to be your host and producer this evening, Logan Landers. And joining me to talk about some NFL Week 6 game predictions, as always, Stat Guy Dustin Reese.
How are you doing, Logan, Jay, and Frankie?
I'm breathing today. I'm alive. I can say that much, my friend. Jay McLovin rocking the what you got? Houston Rockets hat on today.
Yeah, I got my Rockets hat on today
Okay.
just because we're in preseason right now for those guys, so I'm kind of rocking them. Come next show, though, I will have my Astros hat on because we will be in the ALCS at that point. But for now, yeah, I got the Rockets hat on. It's good to be here, man. Appreciate you, Frankie, Dustin, Logan. I love you guys.
I appreciate it, man. And as always, Frankie the Yankee, or I guess we can say Foxborough Frankie Cecil doing football now. What's up, man?
What's going on? Yeah, I had to change my persona real quick.
Oh, man. Hey, let's get in. Hey, always on point, Frankie. Always on point. Well, guys, if you enjoyed the episode today, give us a follow on social media, Facebook at Unscripted, X at ESEN Network. Of course, that's our new network we just started up, the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. We're going to be doing more than sports here in just a little bit. We're just getting all the kinks worked out, and we're going to have some great content down the pipeline. Of course, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, all the same Unscripted Sports. Those will be changing here in the near future, but we will give you updates as they occur. All right, fellas, Week 6 of the NFL is coming, and it is almost here. Seahawks, Bengals, first game up on the docket. Jay McLovin, who's taking this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Seattle's 3-1 right now. The poor Bengals are 2-3, and Burrow, I still don't think that man health-wise is 100%. If you look at the Smith real quick, he's got 846.5 and only a pick. But if you look at Burrow, even though he has a lot more yardage at 1,045, his pick numbers are terrible. He's got 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And, you know, when you look at the teams as a whole, yardage-wise, Seattle is giving a 335 to Cincinnati's 283. That's a big deal. Big enough to where Jamar Chase is even talking about possibly wanting out of Cincinnati and someplace else. This is the same guy that played college ball at LSU with this man. Talking about going someplace else, that speaks volumes. But yeah, when you're talking about yardage allowed, now Seattle does give up a little bit more than what the Bengals do, 392 to 367. So what that tells me is Seattle's defense has to get after Burrow quick and often because of that calf issue. And it also tells me that the Bengals need to get that ball in the air absolutely as much as they possibly can. Walker is an averages more yards per carry than Mixon. So if you want to look who the best running back is right now, it's not Joe Mixon. It's actually Kenny Walker the third, I think is what his name is. Look at that guy. I got this game, Seattle over the Bengals. The Bengals are just atrocious right now. And I'm going to say it's going to be 30. I'm going to be 30 to 26. 30. No, I'm going to say 30-21 on that one. 30-21.
All right, Dustin.
9-point win.
Dustin, who's winning this one?
I find it very comical that you just said the Bengals are atrocious because
They are.
if you look at their past 3 seasons, the last 3
I find your
seasons,
nose to be comical.
The last 3 seasons for Cincinnati Bengals, they all started 2-3 every year. So a 2-3 start for Cincinnati is nothing
That's normal.
new.
That's a walk in the park. Okay.
Who
do you got winning this one?
This team tends to start slow for whatever reason it is. I don't know if it's because they play a lot in the preseason. I don't know if it's because the starters don't play a lot in the preseason too. But I'm not worried about Cincinnati at all. And you look at what Jamar Chase did last week especially. Jamar Chase finally showed up, and he finally got the ball, and Cincinnati started to look like the team that they look like come November, December every year. Seattle just plays well with Geno Smith for whatever reason, and I think Seattle's did a very good service by signing him to that 3-year extension because they gave him a little bit more flexibility at the quarterback position to kind of figure out what they want to do long term. And Geno Smith continues to play well, but given that Cincinnati's in such a familiar spot as they have been the past 3 seasons, I'm going Cincinnati 31-17.
All right, Frankie.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this one. I just like how the Seahawks have been playing since last year with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll. For some reason, this team is really on fire. I don't want to say that the Bengals are going to get annihilated or anything like that. I feel like it's going to be a close game. And Dustin does got a point. The last couple of years, they have been starting 2-3. But let's be realistic here. Out of those seasons, was Joe Burrow ever hurt the way he is this season? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's mentioning it. There's no way in hell that this man is fully 100%. I feel like the Bengals are pushing this guy to go on the field and play his heart out as much as he can, which is why Jamar Chase wants out. And also, let's not forget, they don't have T. Higgins. T. Higgins is on the IR. So if you just double team Jamar Chase, who's really gonna, Joe Burrow gonna throw to? I mean, I understand he has what's his name over there, their third receiver. I keep forgetting. Yeah, Tyler Boyd. But like, I don't feel like the man is gonna.
You don't think that's a big threat?
I really don't. So if you could double team Jamar Chase and let the defensive linemen, rush and get to Joe Burrow, the Seattle Seahawks is going to get this one really, really good in the bag.
Any final score?
Man, I hate out there. I hate final scores, but I'm gonna go Seahawks 24, Bengals 17.
All right. I'm going to go with the Bengals in this one, make it even for our teams here. I'll go the Bengals getting 33, and I'll go Seattle 28. There's going to be a good ball game. And like I said, we'll see what happens with Joe Burrow and company, as well as Geno Smith. All right, two teams who have kind of surprised a lot of people this year with how well they've played so far. The Lions and Buccaneers. Frank, I'll let you kick things off with this one. Who's winning this one?
Detroit Lions.
Final score? Yeah. What you got? You think it's going to be a blowout? Or?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a 3-point game, 30-27 Detroit Lions. The only thing that pisses me off is why can't Bill Belichick and the Patriots play like the Buccaneers are after Tom Brady leaves, damn it.
Oh, man, that's a solo topic for you, brother. You can do a show and rant on that one.
No, I don't even want to do that.
You don't?
No,
okay.
no. Right. It's just going to break my heart.
The option is there, though, whenever you want to. All right, Justin, who's taking this one?
Dustin?
I'm officially on the Lions bandwagon this year, and I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
You're good, man. Might be on his end. Hold on, Dustin. We'll bring you back
my internet or your internet, but can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
All right, that's on his end.
Okay.
Justin, we'll bring you back here in just a minute. Go ahead and just refresh. We'll get you back here shortly. Jay, we'll kick it to you while Dustin gets his stuff figured out. Who's taking this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with Frankie, and I'm pretty sure Dustin's already kind of said his speak on it. It's going to be Lions beating the Bucks. I actually kind of have the same score that Frankie gave a minute ago. I think it's going to be a one-possession game. I think it's going to be 24-17. For this game, for me, the Bucks, they lost to Philly by, 2 scores? The Lions lost to Seattle by 6, but that was in overtime. So I think I think the Lions are just playing a little bit better than what the Bucks are. And look, the Bucks are playing well. The Bucks are playing so much better with Baker Mayfield than I actually gave them credit for at the beginning of the season. So I don't want to take anything away from those guys. It's actually a battle of the first place teams of their divisions right now at this point. Golf, if you look at him versus Mayfield, his yardage is definitely better at 1265 to Baker's 882. And I think it's just because they run the ball a little bit more. I think Baker's kind of more of a game manager at this point. You look at 9 touchdowns to 3 interceptions from Goff to 7 and 2 interceptions from Mayfield. So I think the quarterback play is almost kind of about the same, honestly, at this point. I think you got to look at the running backs as where as this team goes. And Montgomery has 88 at 371 and 6 touchdowns to White 63, 206 and 8 touchdowns. So I got to give the run in slightly to Montgomery at that point. I think Gibbs is actually on the injured list of that hamstring issue. So I think we're going to see a lot of Montgomery in this game. When you look in terms of yardage, it's 394, 307 in favor of the Lions. And then when you look at the defensive side, it's 318 to 337 allowed, again, in favor of the Lions. I think both teams limit the running backs to under 100 yards, which is phenomenal. So I think this is going to be a game that's going to be through the air and not so much on the ground. And when I look at on the air, I look at, I think Goff is just a little bit better than Mayfield in terms of that. So that's why I'm going with the Lions. But I do think it's a one-score game. Again, 24-17.
All right. Dustin, you back? That might be his internet. Now? Yeah, we can hear you. It's just it seems like it's a little bit delayed. But go ahead, man. Oh,
yeah, I think it is. I think it is delayed because you guys have been delayed too for a little bit. But
okay, yeah,
I'm
just go right ahead. Okay, Detroit. All right, sounds good. And
Yeah, I'm going
I'll
with the
go
Detroit Lions in this one. I'm going with the Lions.
Don't you love live internet, everyone? Okay.
Listen. All that's confusing to me is Dustin said he's officially hopped on the Detroit Lions bandwagon thing, and this is a Minnesota Viking fan, and they're
That
in the
is
same
true.
division. It's weird to hear him say that.
It's
Yeah.
odd. It really is.
That's like Jay being his Cowboy fan and just going, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be on the Philadelphia Eagles fan
Yeah,
right now, real quick.
Yeah, man. The Giants are fun too. Like just going all out for it.
I think you know what I think it is. I think like because you made that comparison, I think Dustin feels about the Lions kind of like the same way I feel about the Eagles in my division, and it's just that I love my Cowboys. We're 3-2. The Eagles are undefeated. I think at this point, I don't think anybody's beaten them yet, unless I'm mistaken.
Eagles are
yeah,
undefeated.
and so I think the way I feel about the Eagles is I know that look, I am a realist, and I know the Eagles are better than the Cowboys, and they are the rightful owner to our division. As much as I hate to say that, it is what it is, and I think that's what Dustin is saying. I think Dustin is a true Vikings fan, but I think he also knows that the Lions are just the best team in the division.
Yeah, it looks like Dustin. He said that he's got some rain in his area, so that must be messing up with his internet. So, Dustin, if you want to, you can just put your who you think is going to win the private chats, and we'll just read it here, unless it gets fixed here in the next few minutes. For me, like I said, I'm going to go with the Lions. Dan Campbell bite your kneecaps off in this one. Jared Goff's been playing pretty well, and I think this Detroit's got some good momentum. So I would go with the Lions getting the win of this one. I do think that obviously, Tampa Bay is kind of surprising people with how good they've played. Like people thought they'd take kind of a nosedive. Obviously, when you go from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield, who's I'm not saying he's awful, but he's not Tom Brady. So, but he's done well. He slid in there nice and done a good job so far. But I'm going to go with the Lions getting the win in this one. Give me Detroit. I'll go 30, and give me the Buccaneers 17. Let's see. Dustin said 27-17 Lions. So that's what, 3 for the Lions in this one?
Moving to
4.
4. All right. So sweep.
Yeah.
There we go.
When have everyone on this
It's
panel
been rare.
picked the Lions?
That's probably a first. Let's be real here.
I think that is honestly a first. Honestly.
All right. Colts and Jaguars in battle in this one. Jay, I'll let you start off. Who's getting this one?
Yeah, so we got battle of 3 and 2s, but we also have the battle for first place because, as you know, the Colts and the Jaguars are actually tied right now for first. So this game has a lot of weight to it, has a lot of momentum to it as to who will be the sole owner of first place. Obviously, Richardson is on the IR. Going up against Lawrence will be Minshew at this point, Gardner Minshew, which I think is kind of funny. When we're talking about the battle of the division, you got the battle of the former Jaguar cornerback to the Jaguars' current quarterback. So, obviously, Lawrence is going to own over Minshew. We know that, right? But I do think Minshew can do enough as a gap-fill quarterback. I think he can do enough if Jonathan Taylor and company, because I think Jonathan Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong, should be back this week underneath the Colts running back stable. And they're going to run him. But even if they did, look at Moss. Even Moss on his own is doing better than the Jaguars' ETN. Moss has got 89 at 445 and 3, whereas ETN has 95 at 396 and 3. So that means the only difference between the two of these guys is Moss is getting more yards per carry than ETN is. But ETN also is a specimen out of the backfield for the receiving group because he gets his receiving yardage. So that's where ETN can be dangerous, especially when we got Kirk and I think Zay Flowers, I think, is over there. At the end of the day, though, I think it's going to be, if you look at the Colts, they're 357 to 372 on offense by the Jags. And if you look at the defense, they're 401, giving up to 353 for the Jags. So the Jaguars not only own the yardage, but they also control the yardage allowed over both of these teams. And also because of Lawrence being there and Minshew having to come in and supplant is why I'm going to go Jags get the win in this. And I think they get the win at 35-21. Jaguars.
All right, Frankie.
Sorry, you caught me in the middle of eating a pizza. I honestly like this game. I really do. These are two competitive teams right now that we didn't expect to be, at least the Colts in favor to be as competitive as they are to start the season. And you got the Jacksonville Jaguars who literally are just coming away from one of the biggest wins in in their franchise this year in beating the Buffalo Bills. I do have some speculations on that. I feel like because they stood an extra week in London and Buffalo had to travel, that was the one reason why Buffalo lost. But with Anthony Richardson being on the IL and having Gardner Minshew come in, I feel like that's a plus and a negative. I like Gardner Minshew as a quarterback. I feel like he's a really good backup to Anthony Richardson. But they don't have as much weapons in Indy than the Jacksonville Jaguars do. You heard Jay say, they got Zay Flowers, they got Kirk. The one name he didn't say, Calvin Ridley, right?
True. That's true.
You also got that. You also got that dude as well. So there's way too much weapons on Jacksonville just for the Colts to match up against with. Jacksonville Lawrence, he got all those weapons, but he also has the weapons on the backfield as well. So I'm gonna have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars on this one. They're gonna win by 3. I'm gonna go with the same score as I had with the Lions and Bucks. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Jacksonville Jaguar win 21-17 in this game.
Okay.
It's gonna be real competitive. It's gonna come down to the end, and I tell you this right now: the one quarterback who makes a really bad decision at the end of the game is gonna be the reason why that team loses.
All right. Well,
I agree with that.
For me, I'm going to go 20.
Can you guys hear me better? Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah, that's a lot better. What's up? Maybe?
I was like, can you hear me better now or no?
Oh, no, we can hear you, but the delay is still there, my friend.
All right, so then I'll just keep posting in the private chat then.
All right.
Let's give about 4 seconds and he'll probably comment. Just do the 4-second delay. Right?
Go ahead, Dustin. Jay, you were wrong. It's more
I'll just keep posting my stuff in the private chat to make it easier.
All right. Sounds good.
We're just about to 5, I guess, at this point. Go ahead.
All right. For me, and then we'll get Dustin's prediction. For me, I've got the Jaguars winning this one. Final score 28-14 in this one. Like I said, I think Jaguars look pretty good this year. I think Trevor Lawrence has looked solid, and I think they're going to get the win in this one. But Dustin has a different opinion. He says Minshew Mania, baby. Colts are going to win this division with Minshew. Colts win 28-24 in a close one. So that is who he's got. Our international game of the week, which kind of a recurring thing here. Ravens and Titans. Jay, who's got this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I got the Ravens, and I think I'd be surprised if everybody doesn't have the Ravens in this one, to be honest with you, but I might be wrong. Yeah, you're right. It is London's last game of the season. Ravens are 3-2, Titans 2-3. Lamar Jackson is the key. Everybody knows Lamar Jackson is the key here. He really is kind of making a statement as to, how good of a quarterback he is, and he is doing well. He's got a little over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, which is good. That's actually really good for him. To Tannehill's 1,052, 2 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. So now I guess we got to look at Tannehill as Tannesept at this point. He's the king of the interceptions. And I think that really is kind of the story for this team going up against a Jacksonville defense that is going to, I think, haunt him at this point. Now, the downside for the Ravens is your quarterback is your leading running back at 47 carries at 265 and 4 touchdowns to Derrick Henry's 86 at 328 and only 2 touchdowns. So not only is he the better quarterback, but he's also the better running back. How crazy is that? When you look at yards when you total offensive yards, it's 352, 317 in favor of the Ravens. And when you look at the defense, yards allowed is 207, 263, again, in favor of the Ravens. And because they generate more yardage, because they control the defensive line better, because Tannehill is so interceptional prone, and because Jackson is actually having a good statistical year, it's going to be the Ravens in this game. And I think it's by 2 scores. So I'm going to go 28-14 in favor of the Ravens.
All right. Let's go, Frankie. Who's winning this one?
No question about it. Baltimore Ravens.
All right.
This is a team that should have won last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. For some reason, they lost. All the receivers were dropping the balls.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson had that forced fumble for a sack last week to end the game. And basically, basically cost them the game. But I don't put it all on Lamar Jackson. Literally, he's doing all he can. I mean, he lost his running back, which is why he's running more this year, and his receivers are dropping balls. You know, you need to have your receivers hold on to the ball and score you touchdowns. And I feel like they're gonna turn it around this week and get the W over the Tennessee Titans, who technically are not looking like the Titans that people thought they were gonna be. I believe Burks is still on the injured list. I believe
Yeah, he is.
And I believe Derrick Henry has been being on the trade talk as of late. I've been seeing something that Derrick Henry might get traded somewhere by the trade deadline. So let's keep that in mind as well. And if that happens, you might as well. I mean, you can get, if you're not having a good season this year, trade away Derrick Henry, get some draft capitals for that. Get a player or something if you can for that. Because the only way you can succeed in the future is by trading away best players and capitalizing on draft picks, money, or players for future references. So, I mean, that's the best way for Tennessee to go. But for right now, I feel like Baltimore is going to win this one. And I agree with Jay. It could be a 2-score blowout. But he's being grateful by giving the Titans 14. I'm not giving the Titans 14.
How many are you giving them?
I'm giving them 10. And they're lucky I'm even doing that. I'm going to go ahead and say Baltimore is winning 24-10 on this one.
Okay. All right. So Dustin says time for some team crumpets. Wow, look at this. Titans pick up the massive win, 17-14 in overtime. So he's gotten that one being a very close game. For me, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens getting win this one. Final score, I'm going to have Baltimore 24. And I'll split the difference between Jay and between Frankie. I'll go with the Titans getting, 13. So that'll be the final score for that one. Once again, Baltimore picking up the win for me. And finally, last game, Monday night game of the week. Cowboys, Chargers. Jay, I already know who you're going to pick. What's the score going to be?
Yeah, Cowboys against the Chargers. 3-2 versus 2-2. But I will say this. The Chargers 2-2, I think, comes against a little bit stiffer competition. Not that the Cowboys didn't have stiff competition against the 49ers. And we know what the 49ers did to Dak Prescott and company. I will say this about the Chargers, though. Joey Bosa looks to be questionable. Will he play? Will he not play? If he does play, how good will he play, be it injured? Because Joey Bosa is kind of a factor in that, kind of factors into my decision-making. Prescott has been horrible at 1,061, 5-4 interceptions. To Herbert's 1,106, 7, and only 1 interception. I do think the Cowboys have the advantage in the run. 81 at 340 and 2 touchdowns. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I want to rescind that. I think actually Carey at 57 and 207 in the touch. I think Carey, yards per carry is averaging better than what Pollard is actually averaging. So I guess I still got to give the advantage even to the Chargers in that category. But when you look at yards, it's 342 to 408. When you look at defense, it's 309 to 433 in favor of the Cowboys. So obviously the Chargers have the better offense. I think the Cowboys have the better defense. So because Joey Bosa is questionable, I'm going to give it a slight edge, a very slight edge to the Cowboys. I think they get it by 3.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be 24-21 Cowboys.
All right, Frankie. Your final score, my friend.
I like that take. I really do like that take. And just like with the Houston Astros, I am not gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys. I'm really not. And it's not. And it's not because I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I really don't like. I really don't hate the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm pretty sure I told Jay this before. Like, there was a time in the 2010 era where Frankie C actually picked the Cowboys every year to win that division. Wow. I really did. I really did. There was a time where I picked the Cowboys. I hate the Giants. I don't.
Can you bring that Frankie C back? I like that Frankie C.
He didn't know you then.
I didn't know you then, and you didn't have Dak Prescott. You didn't have Dak Prescott. You had
no,
Tony
we
Romo.
did not.
And you had Des Bryant. So I mean, those are the two. I like Tony Romo. I like Des Bryant. I like Jason Witt, and you guys had a really good caliber team at that time. That's why I picked you guys all the time to win. But this time around, you guys got Dak Prescott. I don't trust him. I don't like him. But I'm gonna have to go with the Chargers on this one for one reason, and I feel like it's because Austin Eckler's coming back. And when you have the man who can run the ball really well for you to come back, it takes a little bit of pressure off of Keenan Allen, who's actually also doing well this year, better than he did last year. We can honestly say that, obviously Christian McCaffrey's up there in the MVP conversation. Tua Tagovailoa's up there in the MVP conversation. But you can also put Keenan Allen up there as the top 5 in the MVP conversation because the man is doing something that he hasn't done in a while. I mean, he's showing that he still can play at a high caliber level, no matter the age he's at, no matter the length of NFL seasons he's in. He's doing what he's got to do. Defensively, on the Cowboys' part, they're really good defensively. They're nasty. They destroy teams defensively when they can. It's just so happened that last week they had to go up against the San Francisco 49ers. You feel me? I feel like if it would have been a different team, Cowboys would have won. But they had to go up against the 49ers, who technically the Cowboys cannot beat. They have not been able to beat the 49ers in the past 3 seasons. And that's just not postseason, regular season as well. And I feel like that was a little bit of an advantage on the 49ers' part. But if the defensive can come out tough like they did against the Patriots, the Cowboys, then yes, the Cowboys are going to win this game. But let's be real here. Micah Parsons, he's a little banged up, Jay. I know that for a fact. And he's trying not to say
I agree.
He also didn't do nothing last week.
Yeah, he's a little banged up. He really is. So, I mean, like, if he's a little banged up, you might as well rest him at least a week or 2. It's early in the season. You guys have a good record. If you know you're not going to win the division, at least know that you're going to make the playoffs. Rest him at least a week or 2. Get his strength back. Get him to the form that you guys need him to be at. This week, I'm going to have to say 3-point win for the Chargers. I want to say 21-17 just because of Micah Parsons being a little bit hurt and because Austin Eckler's coming back on the backfield for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wow, the fact that you said 3-point victory tells me that me and you are somewhat on the same wavelength. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Dustin said this will be interesting to see how the Cowboys rebound this week. The Chargers are very capable of putting up points on the Cowboys defense. I think this will be a close game, but look for the Cowboys to make one more play than LA and win. Once again, 3-point ball game, 34-31. All right, for me, let's see. So for me, I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one, but I got it still being close. Not 3 points close, but I got it being 7 points close. I got the Chargers 24, and I've got the Cowboys with 17. So yeah, 24-17 in that one. I don't know, man. I gotta see Dak Prescott do something.
I agree. No, you and Frankie aren't wrong.
Hey,
Jay,
Jay,
you're not wrong.
How come he's not feeding CeeDee Lamb?
I don't know. That kind of the fact that Ferguson, if you look at the last game against the 49ers, Ferguson for a long period of time was actually their leading wide receiver, and I thought that was really kind of crazy. The fact, like you said, why are they not getting Brandon Cooks more involved?
Yeah, I don't get it. But this is a battle of which coach is going to be on the hot seat, because both these guys.
I hope McCarthy is.
So whoever loses, get ready for that hot seat to be very, very warm after this week. So I got the Chargers in this one, but we'll see what happens on Monday night. All right, well, guys, that is it for our Week 6 NFL predictions. As always, Jay, appreciate coming on. Dustin as well. I know we had some internet issues, but appreciate you chiming in the comments, helping me out. And, of course, Frankie the Yankee, or in football, Foxborough Frankie C. Always a pleasure talking with you, my friend. I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers.